Ken Gichinga, Chief Economist and CEO at Mentoria Economics Kenya. Thank you very much for joining us. Kenya has already sold off nearly 1.2 billion shillings worth of this crude oil. What do you think will be the immediate benefit for the local communities in Turkana, if any?
Well, according to the revenue sharing bill, in the petroleum bill, the revenue is going to be split 75% to the national government, 20% to the county government, and 5% to the local community. So that 1.2 billion shillings, we should expect to see about 240 million shillings or $2.4 million going to the county government, which would be fantastic because the county can use that for schools, for healthcare, and top it up with what it gets from the national government.
So we already know what the amounts are. You said 5% to the local economy. As we know, there was a lot of delay at first caused by a standoff over sharing of this revenue between the oil company, the government, and local people. Have all of these issues now been resolved?
All the issues have been resolved. Back in May last year, 2018, there was an agreement before the Petroleum Act 2019 was drafted, and the issues that had been building up because there was a feeling that the local communities were not getting enough. So first the money part was resolved, but even more than that, the local content issues were resolved because of the issue of local labor. Can they utilize local labor in the value chain, especially coming from the Turkana County, because unemployment is very high in that county. That was also resolved. So expect now to see some form of prosperity coming into that county.
So they're happy with the 5%, and of course there'll be more employment in that area.
Absolutely.
Right, with oil riches, obviously it's not just going to benefit local people. There will be other countries wanting to take an interest in all of this. How is this likely to impact on Turkana County and indeed Kenya as a whole?
All that depends on the legal instruments, and one thing I'm very happy about is the legal instruments have been put in place. If you look at Nigeria, for example, or if you look at Angola, the lack of that strategic planning has led to some form of chaos. I think for Kenya moving forward, the revenue sharing part has been agreed upon, but I think we need to ask harder about having a local refinery in Kenya. I know they have said it's not commercially viable, but they've not given excellent reasons on why that's not the case. Because if you look at Nigeria, a lot of the oil is exported and they have to buy refined oil from abroad. If Kenya can find a way of escaping that particular chapter, I think it would be a major success.
Okay, well, there's been obviously a lot of excitement about all of this and the first sale of crude oil from Kenya. How long do you think it will be until Kenya can officially belong to the League of Oil-Producing Countries, would you say?
Well, it's already part of that, but you're right, this is part of an oil exploration scheme. When the first 200,000 barrels were put into the Celsius rigger, which was a ship that took the oil to Malaysia, there was a lot of excitement. But a lot of people forget that this is still part of a trial experiment. It might take up to 2022, some say 2024, because also it depends on the prices of oil. Right now we are talking about $60 a barrel for Brent crude. But the question is, what's the 5-year outlook in terms of pricings? Because that's what affects the viability. If the outlook on oil is very bearish, then it might dampen these prospects. But if the outlook is quite high, you might see more players coming in to invest in the industry.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Early days yet, but an exciting new development, certainly for Turkana County. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
That was Ken Gichinga there, Chief Economist and CEO of Mentoria Economics in Kenya.